We knew coming back from Auroville that what is preached and practiced in Auroville is not in full demand in Bangalore. Every year you want to take more back home because costs are rising. But if you're still doing the same thing, then something's not fundamentally not working. So it is not a choice. I think it's a must, growth and scale for any business. We were making sure that our clients are getting what they want, but we failed to notice that the business was not getting what it wanted or what it should have got. We always would try to standardize things, but then we would get caught up between how do you standardize something in a creative business. There was always a clash. We are so focused on the output, which is the architecture of a building, that we forget that these things even exist. It's not just stuff for the big guys, it's what the small guys need to do to become bigger. At Unearth, we are primarily an architecture design studio which also builds its projects. So it's a design build company. We are architects at heart, but we are also trying to do the whole process of not just designing but also completing the building process for the clients that come to us. My father was a mechanical engineer. He had a day job, and construction and design was something that he did out of his passion. He would do site visits, go manage things, come back in the night, then make drawings for his other projects. So it went into the night. A lot of my playtime was sand, bricks, and hanging out with site folks. When I understood that architect is somebody who sits one step above that, who's the creator of it. Construction is you're building it, but architecture is you design it, you make it and then it gets built. So it seemed like a very cool, powerful place to be in, where you can shape things. And the bonus is you didn't have to write exams. So that really cut it for me. So my inspiration does come from Auroville. A lot of it, because Auroville was very formative for me in terms of the design professional that I am today. In Auroville, sustainability had become a concern, like I said, in the 80s. Nobody even knew what earth blocks were here in urban India, in cities. During my time in Auroville, I learned about a different way of practicing architecture, a different way of building buildings, completely new set of materials, things that we didn't even know could be done. But I always knew I had to come back to Bangalore because this was home, and whatever I wanted to do was here. We knew coming back from Auroville that what is preached and practiced in Auroville is not in full demand in Bangalore. We knew in the city people have very different concerns. People only care about having a shelter. It need not be sustainability focused or energy saving focused. Coming to Bangalore, working for a year and a half with a real estate company, to fast forward, my three friends and I, the four of us together, then started a business. We were very passionate, we were driven, we wanted to paint the whole city in mud. Every building should be an earth building, but there was a certain madness to it. Coming back to the city, I always had a fear of how successful we would be in trying to build with this philosophy. I think there was a little bit of madness also in us at that time, and we had also done our recce, and we knew that there were some people who were interested. Whether that would be enough to make what we want to do successful was always a question. We did this for a good 7 years together. We were four very different people. Each of us had different, sub-aspirations, if you want to call it. I think amongst the four of us, I was probably the most materialistic one. I have a lot of aspirations in terms of things that I want to have in my life because I'm passionate about. If I have to be specific, back then as a kid, I used to love automobiles and cars, and things cost money, right? So for me, if we are not making a lot of money, then we are not successful as a business. I see that differently today. If you're not making money, it's because you are not relevant. It's because you're not imparting enough value, and therefore, so on and so forth. But yes, this is the 20s. We just wanted to make a lot of money. It was not necessarily the same for everybody. And I always used to find myself on the side where I was having to compromise my aspirations because we were trying to follow certain ideals. In this process of being very output focused, delivery focused, it all became about the product. As a business, we were just working so hard. Like, all I remember is hard work to the point of being burnt out. We were making sure that our clients are getting what they want, but we failed to notice that the business was not getting what it wanted or what it should have got. So every year you want to take more back home because costs are rising. But if you're still doing the same thing, then something's not fundamentally not working. So it is not a choice. I think it's a must. Growth and scale for any business, it has to be there. Finally, it came down to the moment of decision, and I decided that I would like to part ways and do things my way, or try and do things my way. And because I couldn't have lived more with that feeling that I want to do things differently. I didn't want to live in regret. Prashanti, my wife, is also an architect, and she was running her own practice at the time. So when this separation came about, we started talking about the possibility of doing something together, and luckily she agreed, and that's how Unearth was born.
I was not good at few things, and he was really good in those things. So it was naturally a very win-win, and we wanted to work together.
We were supposed to be starting from scratch again, but somehow things aligned. We had a lot of work. Family, relatives, friends, all somehow started with a lot of projects. Post-COVID, we were like swimming in work. The first 1 year was smooth sailing. So we are at the Kling Brewery here. This is a place that we designed 2 years back. So what we've done in the brewery is we have brought the bar, which is this 40-foot long natural stone clad bar facing the street here, and this here becomes the live zone. Everybody just hangs out, looks at the street. It's almost like we're trying to make this whole section a part of the street here. We have the same flooring continuing inside. We have a lot of these brick arches which are trying to create vaulted ambience, which is like a tribute to the pubs of Bangalore from the 80s. Yeah, that's more or less what we have going here.
From 6 months to 1 year, the beginning of our journey, the expansion was just pure luck.
Like, this word of mouth is a scary strategy. It's so dependent on the amount of people you know in life. So like, an introvert is dead. And somehow this being the fundamental strategy of a business is very scary. So there has to be a science to it. We were now 10-15 years into the profession, and we were no longer juniors who could hustle our way through it. We ran like an MNC for like the first few months. 2 people working 24 hours. It was fun, but we knew that couldn't get us through. We needed a team. Also, this simple realization that something that can be done by a junior professional for 25,000 rupees, why would you spend 1 lakh rupees on it by getting it done from a senior person? It just didn't make sense. So we got ourselves a team. We were now 4 architects and the two of us, 6 people in the office. I was very proud because almost 6-8 months into the business, we are a team of 6. I had not even imagined that it would happen so soon. But then things got worse. Instead of 2 individuals doing things randomly on their own without any process or structure, now there were 6 people, of which 4 were dependent. The hustle increased. Everybody was working long hours, uh, waiting on each other, confused. Nothing was consistent, quite chaotic. I also started now getting worried about, okay, we have a team of 4. A year's going to go by, 2 years are going to go by, and then these people are going to come to me and ask for a raise. If we are doing the same work that we used to do last year or the year before that, the same amount of work that we are doing as a business and you are doing as a person, and we are earning the same amount of money, where will the raise come from? Like, how is that going to work? Everything keeps coming back to this thing that growth is not an option. It has to be there. We were building daily plans without having a weekly plan or a monthly plan or a yearly plan. We always would try to standardize things, but then like we would get caught up between how do you standardize something in a creative business. Like there was always a clash because standardization is equal to boring, is equal to death in creativity in a business, but then it's still needed and it can be done. We just didn't know how. So everything in my life kept pointing to I need an MBA. A conventional MBA was seeming very daunting at the time. So when I was looking at different avenues to go and learn, MBA not being an option, I kept looking for things on the internet, and that's when I stumbled upon Rajiv Talreja and Quantum Leap. There was this pitch about solving all the problems that I was going through in my business as a business owner. Once I was in this ecosystem, I had my first eureka moment, learning about the 7 functions of business. We all know they exist, they are there somewhere, you are working in each function at some point or the other, in some manner or the other, but then to see them explicitly like that really gave a lot of clarity. And once they became 7 different organs instead of one amoeba like organism, which our business was with Prashanti and I doing everything unconsciously. It just opened up a world of possibilities. We now knew we could take on each thing and then work on it separately. And it sounds very basic and rudimentary, but that's how bad it is on our side of things, that we are so focused on the output, which is the architecture of a building, that we forget that these things even exist. So I was doing all this learning with Quantum Leap and learning about the functions, the importance of having a process and a system to doing things. I was going very fast. My knowledge growth jump was happening in big leaps, but things were still the same in the office. I would go off on these 1-2 days, do massive learning and then come back all transformed, feeling transformed, and then it would be like walking into a wall here at the office, because naturally nothing has changed there and they're still used to the old ways of doing things. In the beginning you're very excited, you want to completely change, the speed at which you've learned, you want to implement things at the same scale. That's a very hard one, drawing, dimension, design, aesthetic, this, that. And now we're talking process, system, structure. That thing is still a joke today in the office. The minute I say process, system, structure, everyone's laughing. But it can't happen without. So it was very, very challenging. It still is today. But I think that's a gradual journey. You have to first make people understand why it is important and then try to explain how to do it.
So in the beginning, we did not have any systems where we could always track back to what quotation was given, what is the bill that is going to come. So the files would be misplaced, or it was difficult to basically go back and see and answer the clients this is how much we have counted for. But in the last 1 year, the progress was made to see the back end also, where the contractor gives the rate analysis. We would also analyze that in our own way. So we will always have the room to negotiate. So that is one value addition. And then we are also able to track back to the files, because we are sitting with the contractors, taking their rates, putting into our file in our format, and then we are sharing it with the client. So we can always track back whatever changes we have made, and any additions also. We are also going through the process where we are also accounting each and every change. Where something is confirmed, we are adding this, and hence the time and the cost will also be evaluated accordingly.
This became the part to scale. Now we knew that, okay, if you do this, you will reach where you want to go, kind of a thing. Like that roadmap sort of emerged, and I think that was very, very important. It's not just stuff for the big guys, it's what the small guys need to do to become bigger. Sometimes when you have to take a business forward, you first need to go backward and restructure it from its core in the process, so that you can unlock something bigger on the other side. So giving birth to these departments was important. On the accounts front, we went and outsourced it to a CFO services firm, so who now is constantly looking at our finances. Instead of doing a post-mortem filing reporting, we are trying to get ahead of things, trying to visualize, forecast, etc. We've now learned that having a team is essential to scaling, but then if you just add people without there being a system, then you're only multiplying chaos. So it's very important while you're building the team also to build the structures for it, so that everybody has clarity on what they need to do on their own, and then the business owner gets out of the way.
Initially, I used to give them instructions, and then I felt like that instruction was too manual. Whereas we are in a creative field, I can't micromanage it, and I found it very not so creative work for them as well. So I started directing them, and I don't start designing for them.
Before you go about innovating and researching and adding new products, etc., it is more important to first make this whole process smooth for your team and your customers. All this learning is also showing up in the numbers in our business. We've grown significantly over the last 1 year in terms of our revenues. By expanding our portfolio of services, we have almost doubled, if not tripled, our revenue, and all of that is thanks to the clarity that has come about. So the next thing for us to do is marketing. We are figuring it out. We are putting that in place as a solid function, but we had to unlearn a lot to reach this point. We also understood that without this you're dead, because this was the answer to my problem. How do you get out of word of mouth existence as a survival strategy or a growth strategy for your business? It is only by bringing in more people into your world who are not already present there, which means you have to go outward and communicate what you're doing. You have to go and put yourself out there, and only if you do that will somebody know you exist, and only if they know you exist will they even consider you to work with. So it is so simple, and it is so fundamental. Not doing this is like
I wish it happens that the team itself directs the whole thing on its own. Sitting back and looking at these things would be really good.
with Unearth, we are not just trying to create a one-time whimsical thing. We are trying to build something that is very simple, repeatable, scalable, something that lasts much after we are not even around.